The Celtics stormed back in Game 2 with a dominating win in Miami. Boston trailed by 10 in the first quarter and then outscored Miami 60-21 over the next 18 minutes. Al Horford and Marcus Smart were back with a Smart rebound short of a triple-double. The Warriors have broke even in the latest NBA championship odds, and the Celtics sit second after their major turnaround in Game 2, and Golden State is primed to go up 2-0 on the Mavericks tonight, who have the longest odds of the four at 10-1. For more, we've got Kendrick Perkins and Tim Legler here now, and welcome back, guys. Perk, what team is best positioned to win the NBA title?
You know what team is best to win.
I know. I gotta ask you again, though.
Okay, but don't start that. Look, it's the Boston Celtics, and let me explain why. One, they're in the better conference, okay? When you look at the East is far more better than the Western Conference. Two, they're going to have a harder journey for us getting to the finals and winning the championship. If you look at it, they had to go through Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, two guys that have been there and won a championship. One guy that's a two-time finals MVP. Next round, you go and defeat the defending champs, although they're missing Chris Middleton, but now they beat the defending champs with the most dominant player, best player in the world, Giannis Antetokounmpo. And now you look at the Miami Heat, the team that's the number one team in the Eastern Conference, with one of the best coaches in the game, and you look at how stellar their defense is. Now, look on the other hand. Say if it's the Golden State Warriors, right? They played the Denver Nuggets the first round. And we know that the Denver Nuggets, no disrespect to any team, but they was the worst team in the playoffs, okay? And then all of a sudden you go to a Memphis Grizzlies team who lost their superstar in Ja Morant, inexperienced, and so they pulled off their series. Now you're going against the Dallas Mavericks team who is young, unexperienced, who's making a rise, but they haven't been at this moment before. So when I look at the Boston Celtics, their defense and the journey and the path that they have to go through to actually get to the finals and win it all, I got the Boston Celtics as the team to beat and bringing home the championship this year.
I'm right there with you. What about you,
Perk lays it out really well, and he's right about this. Yep. To this point, Boston's got a better resume, right, based on this postseason. Because you took out Brooklyn with two superstar players. You took care of business with Giannis Antetokounmpo and the defending champs, no doubt. And now you get a pretty tough Miami Heat team as a number one seed, and you go in there and you get a split. So their resume has been stronger than Golden State's, but I still like the Warriors, and I think here's the reason. Every other team that Boston is going to have to defend is going to look a lot different than what Golden State does. I saw an incredible statistic the other night, and for me, it sums up what Golden State's about and why they're so tough, and they have so many weapons, and they're so difficult to communicate for 24 seconds against. You know, in Game 1, in the last 6 seconds of the shot clock, when most teams in that situation give it to a great player, let him isolate, everybody stand and watch, and you end up with a contested jump shot. That's typically what teams do when you get down to that 5 seconds on the shot clock. Golden State was 12 for 14 from the field in those situations. And I bring that up because they're just different. You've got to guard them the entire time. They are not going to make it easy by saying, hey, mano a mano, Boston lines up with these great defenders, all this versatility, length, and size, and we're just going to come at you like most teams operate, ball screen or isolate. That's not what they're going to do. They're going to make sure that you chase them for the entire possession. They're going to make the extra pass. They're going to back cut you. They're going to put the ball back into the top of the key multiple times in the same possession in the hands of Draymond Green and let him sort of pick you apart and be the brains of the operation. I just think that they have so many weapons on a given night. You know, you've got 4 different guys capable of giving you 20 to 30, and you've got Draymond Green who can facilitate and make sure the ball goes where it's supposed to. So, look, either one of these teams capable of winning it, but I want to be clear about something. We tend to do this nowadays in sports media. We're already dismissing the Heat. We're dismissing the Dallas Mavericks. Dallas down 1-0. Miami's in a 1-1 series, and we're already talking about, is Boston or San Francisco going to have a better parade route? I just think it's a little bit premature and unfair to the 2 other teams that are still playing, because I think Luka's going to have a lot to say tonight.
We are jumping a little bit.
We are, but Lex, that's what we do. And look, you are OG in this game, and one thing you know better to do is the game is to be sold, not told, okay? Look, I understand. I think Luka's going to come out in great fashion tonight. I think this series is going 7. But here's why I give the slight edge to the Celtics again. I just want you to think about their starting 5 for a second. Marcus Smart, 6'4". Jaylen Brown, 6'7". Jason Tatum, 6'10". Al Horford, 6'10". Robert Williams, 6'11", 7 foot. But they all can move, Legs. They're all versatile for us on the defensive side of things. And when I look at the Warriors, I'm looking at the Boston Celtics. I'm like, they have the length. They have the athleticism. They have the high IQ. They're able to communicate the switches and guard multiple positions. And then you add a guy like Grant Williams, who's the ultimate 3-and-D guy, coming in off the bench. I'm like, hold on. So they have stoppers all over the floor. And what I'm saying is that the Warriors just haven't been tested enough to go against a team like the Boston Celtics. And again, I'm going to point back to this. If you're able to defend a Kevin Durant, who's arguably the greatest scorer to ever touch the damn basketball. If you're able to defend a Kyrie Irving, who's arguably one of the most skilled players to ever touch the basketball, and you're able to guard a Giannis Antetokounmpo, where slightly just cause him trouble because nobody can stop that dominant force, but if you're able to contain him enough to win a series, I like my chances with this Celtic defense and their tenacity to beat the Golden State Warriors if they happen to meet up in the finals, which I'm solely sitting up here saying the Celtics are winning it all, period.
Well, listen, Perk, that's a hell of a closing argument. I know you represent the law firm of Perkins, Perkins and Perkins. Representing the Boston Celtics in the courtroom. I understand that.
Don't do that, Legs. Don't do that, Legs.
You laid out a great case. But listen, the guys you pointed out that Boston has defended to this point, all great players, but this is different because now you've got to communicate switches seamlessly. And not only switches, you've got to also make sure when you're running back in transition, you're fanning out and getting to guys early as the ball comes off the floor, because Golden State is going to be a different sort of animal that you've got to contend with for the entire possession. Look, I hope we end up with that series because I think those are the two teams that would probably give us the greatest drama. Boston's defense against Golden State's player and ball movement would be a dream. But as I said earlier, I'm not trying to get on the bad side of Luka Doncic and my boy Eric Spoelstra down in Miami either. These guys still got a lot to say about what's going to happen. We know where we think this is going and ultimately where it's going to end up. But I still think you got something special left in Luka Doncic. You did not see it in Game 1. I think he's going to be pretty special tonight. I'm not saying they necessarily win, but I think Dallas has a lot more to show than what we've seen to this point. Miami, I think they're in a little bit more trouble in that series.
I think there's a lot more that we're about to see, but I'm right there with you, Perk. So I'm going to ride that Celtics train right with you. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Perk. And coming up